Hello, and thank you for tuning in to There's a Snake in the Birdhouse, Building a Python Culture at Vrbo. My name is Mason Egger, and I serve the developer community at DigitalOcean. If you have any questions about this talk after the fact, feel free to tweet me on Twitter at Mason Egger. So, quick introduction. As I mentioned before, I'm a developer advocate at DigitalOcean, but before this, I was a site reliability engineer at Vrbo. When I originally started at Vrbo, there was no official Python support at Vrbo. You could kind of go and do it in your own way, but it was not officially supported or recommended by the company. So what I'm going to do is today I'm going to tell you my story of how I went about leading the effort to build a Python culture at Vrbo, from there being no Python at all to now Python is a supported language and developers are actively using the Python application that I built to deploy their applications. Hopefully, you will be able to learn from my successes and my mistakes to help bring Python into your job if you don't already have it, or to help strengthen Python in your current position. So, a quick little bit of background is the engineers at Vrbo deploy all of their applications on an internal platform as a service that was built and managed by my team. Project templates exist for the supported languages. So there was a project template for Java and for Node, but there was no template for Python. You could build and deploy your own Python apps and deploy them to this PaaS if you knew the settings that you needed to make sure that were set so that way it would work in the PaaS, but these were considered off-road applications. There was no official support from the platform teams, so if there was any issues whatsoever, you really couldn't get any support. So when I first got there, I wanted to bring Python into the ecosystem. So eventually I was tasked with making Python the third supported language within the company. So some of the do's or the successes that I had that I highly recommend you use as well are, for the first, demonstrate the flexibility of Python. Python can be used to solve almost any task. Use this to your advantage. Show people what Python can do. Don't just tell them. Always show people by writing little proof of concept apps or do stuff. Demonstrate Python's abilities. Create a meaningful set of expectations and use cases. So that being said, just because you can use Python for everything doesn't mean that you necessarily should use Python for everything. So let people know what to expect from your application. Create these use cases and say, hey, we're going to use this for creating these kind of APIs and this kind of data science models and all of these things. And just list what it would be good for. If they want to go off on their own and do something else, that's totally fine, but list the happy paths for it. Provide an out-of-box experience with sensible defaults. I built a default Python application that deployed into the PaaS. So whenever I did this, I built everything, the tests, the documentation, the code, all of the sample stuff. So the more time people have to spend trying to figure out how to use your code and stuff, or the more they can't figure it out, the more likely they are to get a bad impression of it and they are to stop using it. So definitely provide a good experience that is ready to go, ready to run at start time. Provide working code, tests, sample documentation that's built through CI/CD, everything. Provide everything that they will need, so all they have to do is run, say, the cookie cutter, and then deploy their app, and boom, they have a working Hello app with API documentation, with regular documentation on how to use the project, with unit tests that are running and passing. Provide a ready-to-go experience. That being said, you also need to create good documentation for this project to explain how to use it, as well as rationale of your decisions. So document not only the code, but why you chose the tools you use. Why did you choose Flask and PyTest? Why didn't we go with Django? Why are we using pipenv instead of pip? Document all of these things so that way, one, in the future, you can always come back and say, this is why we chose this technology. If anybody ever questions it, because you will forget why you did this. In 3, 4, 5, 10 years, this is why we chose to do this. And at the same time, it helps justify your decisions to other people within the company who you don't want to always have to sit down and have a face-to-face meeting explaining it about. And finally, find an empowered group of beta testers to help you test your Python, your application. The longer you work on the project, the less likely you are to find negative paths. That's just the nature of code. You become, accustomed to the quirkiness of the code. So get others to test it for you. They will find issues. They will do things that you didn't think that was possible because you never tried doing it that way. And then also find people who are excited about Python that will help you evangelize the Python. If you get people that are willing to evangelize, you don't have to do all the work. People will talk this up amongst their friends and other teams and stuff, and eventually more people will want to use your Python code for their project. So those are some of the do's. Some of the don'ts that I would say are definitely don't say that language sucks, you should use Python. This never works. This is not a way to win friends or to convince people to use your code. This is a way to start a fight. People love the languages that they love. People love Perl. People love PHP. People love Node. People love Python. We all know why we love Python. They have similar feelings for their language. So building animosity towards your project isn't going to win you any friends, and it's not going to help you get Python accepted into your workspace. Perhaps you can try, hey, Python has a really cool way of solving this problem that you're working on. Can I show you, or can we work on this together? And let me show you all the cool things Python has. That's a great way to introduce it. But if you just go off out the gate with being adversarial, you're never going to win friends and Python won't be accepted. Don't try to solve every Python use case with one tool. So you may have chosen Flask as maybe the default app that is going to be deployed into a PaaS or into Kubernetes. But maybe other people don't need Flask. Maybe there's some people that have really good use cases for Django. Don't draw a hard line in the sand there. Definitely make it where your app can easily be, you can easily hot swap out a piece. I can take out Flask and I can put in Django and the tests still work and all the other stuff. Make it easy to use your code so that way if someone does need to kind of modify it, they can without much difficulty. Don't try to use Python to solve problems that Python doesn't handle well. If someone needs to build a program with high levels of concurrency or a really small footprint on a really small Docker image, then maybe Python isn't the best choice for that. If people try to use your code for a problem that Python isn't well equipped with and they fail, it's not necessarily saying that they will fail, but if they do fail, they're going to blame your code and they're going to blame the language. They're going to blame it on Python for not supporting real concurrency or being so bulky that there's not enough, that it takes up so much space that it takes forever to download the Docker file. If we do things like this, then you're not gonna like make a good name for Python and people aren't going to want to use it. So definitely don't use it if it doesn't make sense to use it for that problem. Python can solve every problem, but it doesn't mean that Python should solve every problem. And do not develop in isolation or avoid others' opinions. You can't mandate down the mountain, hey, we're going to use this tool. We're going to use Flask and this and this and this. Hopefully you chose good defaults, but maybe you didn't. Maybe you chose some weird framework that nobody's ever heard of. Get other people's opinion, hold meetings, figure out what the people in the company want to use and what problems they're trying to solve, and present to them options. And then you can build the application that you need that everybody will be happy with. So once you've built this Python application, now you have to evangelize it. So what we can do now to evangelize it is we can rewrite some existing applications that are troublesome or complex in Python. Show the simplicity of Python. Again, we're always going to benefit when you show the simplicity of Python. So rewrite existing or troublesome apps and deploy them and see how they do. Write new applications or features in Python. If you have the opportunity to write a new microservice, instead of writing the 400th node microservice, maybe say, hey, can we try this in Python? Like, this is maybe a good use case for Python. Let's try it. Let's see. Show people how easy it is to maintain and how quickly you can implement it, because again, Python is relatively easy to implement stuff with. So do that. Try creating new things. Try to slip more and more Python in. Now, the last one is kind of a sneaky one, but be the temporary solution. Just say, oh, I'll just write that in Python to get something going because we need it working right now. We can rewrite it in X later when we have time, but it'll take us X amount of time to write it. Then let's go ahead and just get it done in Python now. This is kind of a sneaky way around it because I had an old manager that used to say there is no discernible difference between a proof of concept and production software, which tends to say that most people don't go back and refactor or rewrite. If it's working, they don't go back and fix it because it's not broken. Don't fix what's not broken. It's one of the primary hallmarks of software engineering. And again, just build on the simplicity and the flexibility of the language and show what it can do. Thank you very much for tuning into my talk today. Feel free to tweet any questions you have to me at Mason Egger on Twitter. And if you want to hear me talk about more stuff or see me do some coding, I do a live stream on Twitch. Feel free to join me for that. And thank you very much.